guys, and welcome to what I think is about 11:30. So I'm gonna prop you guys up with my holder from my Switch 2. I might angle you guys just a little bit so you guys can see my face. Hello everybody, welcome back to another one of these. Welcome to November. Sorry it's taken a while for me to put out any videos, but I don't think this year is going to really be a record setter, but you know, I don't think that's anything. So it's currently 11:35 on and it's currently 11:35 on Sunday night. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about. I haven't updated you guys. So some recap of the last week or so. So last Sunday, I did the Flutie 5K, and I did that with my friend Thomas and my friend and a team of people. So there was his friend Julie, his mom, his dad, a couple other people, and two people that he knew from work and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. So we started it off in his new apartment in Jamaica Plain on Saturday, and then eventually we hung out there, talked a little bit, played some games, took the train from Stony Brook, Orange Line. It's the first time I've taken the Orange Line. So taken the Red Line, the Orange Line, and the Red Line, the Orange Line, and the Green Line. I've taken the Red Line twice. Once to get into Boston, and then to meet Tom and a bunch of friends back in 2012, 2013, and then back in I think it was a couple of years ago. I'm gonna say 2018, 2019. We met up just to be in Boston, and I didn't catch the train on time, so I had to go and take the Red Line instead, because I got it too close one time, and then too close one time because I had to go to the Braintree Red Line, and then I was able to take the train back home, and then actually I think was it 2018 and 2019? I think it might have been 2019. We might have 2018, 2019, we might have done that. And then I took I've taken the Green Line a couple of times for Red Sox games, and then I've taken the Orange Line, obviously. So we started there, took the Orange Line, then took the train from Back Bay all the way to back to Natick, where we got back at his house, and then stayed there for a little bit, and talked to his mom, and then we hung out for a little bit, and we're gonna go to the movies, and then gonna go to the movies that fell out of place because of some fell out of place. And then we just decided we wanted to just do mini golf instead, because it's a place called Putt Shack. We went to this place called Putt Shack where we did 9 holes. Then eventually we ate dinner. I ended up having the chicken wrap and fries and a beer. Then we went back home, did some. We got our race bibs and our t-shirts out and got mine, and then woke up at about 6:30 the next morning. We did that because we had to go, because we got to meet and get a photo opportunity with Doug Flutie. So got to meet him, and he actually came into the 5K place at Natick, starting line / area at Natick High School and Memorial Field. Got to see Memorial Field for the first time in Natick High School, and then we did some pre-race festivities. Mom and Dad showed up. We all got to talk, and then eventually around 8:45 they started. Around 8:30 they started the opening ceremonies, the national anthem, and then eventually they did the kid race. The kid race around the track and stuff like that, and then around 9 o'clock they started up everything. My group, Thomas's group, Thomas and I in our group, we didn't start till like 9:20. So, and it took me about 50 minutes and 55 seconds to cross the line. My chip time, my start time was 1 hour and 2 minutes, because it took us like 20 minutes to reach the finish line, to reach the start line, and then reach the start line. And it was a better arrangement because we were actually able to start on the track, and I'm hoping next year they do the same thing. And they had to release us in like groups of like 6, 7, or 8 groups, because there were a lot of people who it was a capacity crowd. Then I worked this week, and I worked last week, and I enjoyed some shut-eye and some relaxation this week. Played some games, watched some racing this weekend. Got to watch Kyle Larson win the NASCAR Cup Series, and also the Dodgers also won the World Series title. Amen. Thank God, and amen to the Dodgers for knocking out the Blue Jays, because we don't like Canadian ball teams, even though I'm French Canadian. So yeah, I just wanted to get you guys caught up with some stuff. I just wanted to do a couple things and kind of do some automotive news that I deem important, and some stuff that comes to my attention because I've been reading. About. So this is not automotive news. This is kind of officially, most sports car series are done. Super GT just ended its season on Sunday. So on Sunday today, I think earlier this, late Saturday, early Sunday. Well, the race will start on Saturday night if it's a race over in Europe. So, if it's over in Europe or Japan, because Japan is like 13 hours ahead of us. So I think the Tom's super team won the Super GT 500 title, and the only sports car race, and NASCAR is over, so the only sports car racing series left, kind of like the only couple racing series left, are Formula One, which will end in December, and then sports cars for for the World Endurance Championship will obviously, well, not obviously, but will be ending in, I think it's either next weekend or the weekend after. I think it's next weekend that they'll be running the Bahrain 8 hours, and I think it's Cadillac and Cadillac, Porsche, and Ferrari being for the title. So that'll be an interesting 8 hours. It'll be interesting to do. So that's cool. I wanted to talk about some things that have popped up in the automotive world and have come to my attention. So one thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is and I think I'm 10 minutes in. I'm gonna go take a shower very soon, either soon or early in the morning tomorrow, assuming I get up because it's super cold these days. Actually, before I hit that, daylight savings officially came into play this morning. Well, early in the morning at about 2 o'clock. So for those of you who do not know, or for those of you who are mystified, or younger and mystified by the time change, there's a set date each year where the sun, it's a November, December, January, February, March. It's usually a 5-month stretch. Well, actually, November, December, January, February, March. Usually it's a 5-6 month stretch where 4 or 5 month stretch where the times are different for sunrise and sunset. So, and it changes and the time. It's when the time increases and decreases for when the sun stays out. So typically during the early summer, usually May in June, late July, sun usually typically stays out at about till about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, most weeknights and most days. Towards the end of July, early August, that's when things start turning back. And as the time goes on, I think it's about late July, early August that, the sun starts to set at the highest it will go is like 8:15, 8:20 usually in late June, early July. And then after that, it starts wheeling back like a couple minutes every week. And the 7 weeks in as you know, the 7 weeks in 7 days in a week. So you're chipping away a minute at a time. And if it starts in early July and there's 31 days in August, that means it almost, I think it's by late July, it almost chips it away like 40 minutes every time. And then it's a minute after that. And by this time in October, November, the start starts setting at like 6 o'clock, then at 6:30, 6 o'clock. Then the last night, the sun went down at 5:30, and then today, beginning night. It's funny. It's the middle of the afternoon. We can call it the middle of the afternoon. It's the beginning. It's like the end of the afternoon at like 4:30, and the sun already is down. So today we lost so we lose. So we fall back since we're in fall back, since we lose an hour, and then in March or April or ish we gain an hour back. We spring back into daylight savings and we fall back. We fall back out of daylight and we spring into daylight savings. We fall back into daylight savings. We spring out of daylight savings. So the time of day will, so the number of hours that the sun's out are usually less. Usually during the summer, usually middle of the summer, usually June-ish, it starts rising at 5, and we don't lose the sun until 8:30. So there's almost so if my calculations are correct, there's usually 13, 14 hours versus this time of year, it's a lot less. So it's usually we get to usually it's a few minutes less. So now that the sun's rising at about 6:30, and as the winter and the fall and the winter go on, it'll be the sun will rise at 7 o'clock. It'll be pitch dark at 6, and stuff like that. So that's kind of one other thing that's happening. So for those of you, my viewers that are younger and are bewildered by the fact that we're losing sun an hour earlier than we did yesterday, that's the reason why. It's knowledge for timekeeping and time management, and knowing when the sun goes down free of charge. Couple of things for cars. I wanted to reiterate that I wanted to do a couple things that have come to my attention. So the Mustang, so the 26 model year cars are vastly approaching, and they're going to be in showrooms soon. Usually they end up in showrooms at the end of 25, and they start showing up, and the orders start to come in for them. So a couple of things for the sort of pony car market this year. So in 26, most of the muscle car lineup or the pony car lineup cars is going to be a mix of electric and gasoline. So, and for those of you who don't know, the Dodge Charger is getting the 6-cylinder, the 3-liter Hurricane 6 with 420 and 550 horsepower. But I wanted to talk about the Mustang and the Mustang generally. So the Mustang is getting this package called the FX package, and you guys are probably, what's happening? FX, what does that mean? Does that mean sound effects, or? Well, it's kind of an ode to the 90s, to the late 80s, early 90s cars, when the cars used to have this is before chrome wheels and chrome everywhere and accents and stuff like that. So the FX package is meant to give the car white steel or white aluminum, white metal rims, accents at the front. It's supposed to give light accents at the tail ends. It's supposed to mimic like the late 90s, early 2000s cars and stuff like that. So that's one other thing and plus there's a car in some baby blue, plus the car is some baby blue teal looking color. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I always, and that's for different things. I just wanted to just see why they came up with the FX package. I know it's supposed to be retro. It's supposed to be a retro thing. So, it's supposed to imitate. It's supposed to the Fox body, FX Fox body. So So it's supposed to imitate um, so this is what I mean. So it's supposed to have badging and stuff like that. So you'll see the 80s in nice Fox body, and you'll see the car over here is you'll see how the wheels are white. The badging for the 50 is white, and the wheels are ancient looking wheels and they have 5-spoke, and then they have these wire style looking things from the 80s. They look like Ozy wheels from like the 80s, and then um, the two little bars on the lights look like the little indicators on the little lights of the indicators on the Fox body over there. And then to top it all off, there's whited out tail lights. The GT badging is, and it's got that really teal looking color. And I like it and it's kind of cool that the companies are going retro. And the other thing is when you option the new Mustang, you can actually have a gauge cluster that will actually imitate the old Fox body rev counter and speedometer if you choose it in the settings. I like it that they went very retro with the car, and I always thought that the car looks a bit. It makes the car look very, very cool and retro. So the car has bits of styling. Just like I think the new Corvette looks like too much like a Lamborghini or a Lamborghini Aventador in the back, and it slightly does. And it's shameful that they decided to copy that, but they're only going with what trends they have and what they need for aerodynamic purposes and all that other good stuff. But I think it's cool that cars are going back to that retro style of in packages, because there's different packages to suit different moods and needs. You'll have the night package where all blacked out badging, and then you'll have the FX or the Fox body package. I forget how much that costs. I think it's another 2-3 grand on top of the 2-3 grand on top of the base price. So and that's a GT Mustang that's only available on. You got to get a premium. So the base Mustang I think is around 41 to 42,000. The premium GT is about 47. So by the time you're done with all the options and doing everything, the car's going to be like 50-60 grand, and that's not considerably cheap, since considering the Mustang used to be kind of a cheaper option to buying either the Corvette or the more upscale luxury cars of the time. Because the Mustang always used to be a budget option, which you can still get with the EcoBoost. But unfortunately, the EcoBoost doesn't get the FX package. I think you can still get the carbon. You can still get a carbon in the night package, but I don't think you can get the that package on it for obvious reasons. But I like it that they have the retro styling. Plus, now that the Challenger Charger, even though it looks like the Challenger, it kind of looks like the old Charger. The old style look of like the late 60s Charger, because the Charger really didn't the Charger lasted into the 70s, but I think it was like 171, 72. The 71, I think the Charger disappeared because they only had a couple models that they wanted to keep going because of the not only because of that, but because of insurance ratings in the muscle car era down because of the fuel crisis and all the pressure to go more economical. But I think that's a really cool package, and I hope Dodge does that as well with the Charger and stuff like that. Makes it look really retro and stuff like that. I was hoping that Dodge would have gone with the circle taillights from the from the 68 model, but obviously they went with the models, the tailwinds from the 66, 67, and 69 models and 70 models when that came out. But the Dodge Charger looks pretty cool as it is, and you can option up the Mustang pretty good. I think I spent like 10-15 minutes trying to option up a Mustang, and you can do all sorts of things with it. You can give it wheels, you can give it packages, you can give it a rear wing delete if you wanted to. If you wanted if you wanted that on the premium and stuff like that. And then you have the Ego Boost, which is more European, slider on the nose. It gives better handling, although it's only optional with an automatic without the paddles and stuff like that, which kind of stinks. Kind of looks like a more traditional Mustang car. And the only problem with it is the cars are slightly heavier than they were about a decade ago. So the Charger was always a heavy machine, but it was not super, super heavy. So a Dodge Charger back in the 1960s was about 3,500 to about 3,000 to about 3,900 pounds, depending on if you had the Hemi in it or not. Although the weight for the Mustang, I think with the EcoBoost, is between 37 and 38, and I think with the V8, it's between 38 and 39. I think with the Dark Horse, it's between like 3,850 and like 3,900 pounds. And I think with the convertibles in the GT Mustang, I think it's like 4,000 pounds or something like that. So they're not heavy cars. They're not very light cars. I remember when Mustangs used to be around 33, 34, maybe 3,500 pounds. The SVT Cobras used to be around 34, 35, maybe 3,600 pounds, but they had like 400 to 500 horsepower to back them up. With the engines and stuff like that. So that's the reason why they lasted the way they did. And the Charger is a little different because with the batteries in there, the car weighs about 5,800 and like 90 some odd pounds, like 900, like 5,800 and like 50 pounds or something like that. But with the batteries out, they take like 1,000 pounds out. The car still weighs for about 4,800 pounds, and I think with the sedan coming next year, it'll be 49 to 5,000. If they ditch the all-wheel drive system and they went rear-wheel drive, which it should be, and I hope Dodge gets the memo on that. Please make it rear-wheel drive, because no one wants all-wheel drive with a 6-cylinder engine. It's not. Last time I checked, most 6-cylinders, especially the Slant 6, were usually the Slant 6 cars were usually rear-wheel drive, not anything more. But that may cut in around another maybe 300 pounds, maybe another 400 pounds. Anything they can do to cut the weight down. If the car was 4,500 pounds and it weighed less, then the acceleration for all the cars would be up. I mean, 0 to 60 in the high output 550 horsepower version is 4 seconds. Most GT Mustangs can usually do that in about, most GT Mustangs with a 408 horsepower can do that in about 4 seconds, and a Camaro of similar age 2-3 years ago could have done 0 to 60 in like 3.7 or 3.8 seconds. So that's a lot, considering considering the car's heavier. And I think the car goes to 60 slower with the smaller output. I think it's like 4.5 seconds or 4.6 seconds, something like that. I mean, that's a lot to take. I mean, a lot of people are going to be like, well, it's heavier because it's got more weight than the Mustang. It's almost 1,000 pounds heavier than the Mustang. And the only reason why the Charger is faster than those cars is because it has the optional, it has the battery packs with, I think it's only 670 horsepower because the RT is no longer available, and I think it's only 670 horsepower because they obviously figured it out that, you know, since there's the 6, they have it. Now, the only way you can get a Hemi in the Charger is if you buy a drag pack one, and the drag pack comes with a 345 cubic inch supercharged engine with about 630 horsepower, but it's only meant for the drag strip, so that's not street legal. So yeah, I kind of like it that they've been making the cars more retro and they look cooler, but you know, they're more expensive and they're also, you know, harder to obtain because they're so much more expensive and they're so much heavier. They're not the cars they once were. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. I will see you guys in the next one tomorrow. I'm not gonna do any gameplay. I'm probably gonna start that next week. I keep saying that, but I will start gameplay of some sort. Maybe I'll just do GTA and we'll go from there. So I'll probably upload this as soon as I'm done, and then I will say adios. I'm probably going to charge my phone, and then I'm going to do so. But I will talk to you guys later. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's enjoy the last like 300, and let's enjoy the last 60 days of the year, and let's have some fun. So Mike Mo here, signing off. Hope you guys had good me spouting out about automotive and time differences and my escapades over the last week or so. So I'll see you guys later, and peace. Don't go away.